Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next installment of our Hangouts, devoted to all matters of financial interest, investing, retirement planning, and such. Today, I want to talk to you about saving for college. This being the end of summer, a lot of kids are starting school, and some are returning to school. So I felt this would be an appropriate time to discuss this subject because obviously it's of great importance to many parents whose kids are in college or just starting college, and that is how to save money for educational purposes. I don't have to tell you that educational expenses in this country are rising at far greater clip than general inflation, and probably exceed any type of other expenses that people have. So I think it's a very pertinent subject, and hopefully you'll find it interesting. Anyhow, the area that I want to focus on regarding saving for retirement is the so-called 529 plans. 529 plans essentially are plans that are operated by states and are designed to allow parents or grandparents to contribute some money towards the future educational expenses of their children or grandchildren. The plans, like I said, typically are operated by individual states, and they're usually managed by large financial institutions. For example, in my state of New York, the plan is called the New York State 529 plan, but it's administered, I believe, by Vanguard. Now, the way the plan works is it allows you, as a parent or a grandparent, to contribute up to $14,000 per year per couple, no, I'm sorry, $14,000 per year per individual. So that means a couple, let's say a mother and a father, or a grandmother and grandfather, can each contribute $14,000 towards each of their children's education. I believe most states have a maximum limitation of probably around $250,000. Some states even more. In my state, for example, state of New York, it's $375,000. Now, like I said, this is the absolute maximum that you can contribute, and most people tend to contribute annually up to $14,000 from each contributor. Now, you don't have to contribute that much money. Of course, you can contribute less, whatever your financial situation permits. But these are the limitations. Anyhow, the plan is designed in such a way where all the money that goes into this account can then be invested, and you, as a plan holder, can pick particular type of investments that you find most suitable for your purposes. Case in point, they have portfolios that you can allocate your money, and those could be aggressive growth portfolios, or value growth portfolios, or conservative portfolios. So there are some options. They are limited, of course, but they pretty suitable for practically anybody. Now, the beauty of the 529 plan is that besides the money being able to accumulate and invest and grow, when time comes to tap into the plan, in other words, when time comes for the child to go to college and pay for the education, when you start making those withdrawals towards tuition payments, they are completely tax-free, both on federal and state levels. So whatever money accumulates over the years in that account, every dollar of it goes towards your child's educational expenses. So I think this is one of the most germane points here, is that you don't really have to worry about paying taxes on any capital gains or anything from that account. And another advantage of these 529 plans is that in some states you might actually be eligible to have your contributions deducted from your tax return, so as an expense, for instance. In my state of New York, for example, you're entitled to deduct $5,000 per year on your state return per person. So if a mother and a father each contribute $5,000, that's a $10,000 tax deduction on your New York State tax return. So that's also a little incentive that a state provides to, I guess, encourage people to save for education. Another great advantage of 529 plans is that, let's assume your child decides when time comes and he or she turns 18 and they decide that they don't really want to go to school. What happens then? What do you do with all that money? Well, the beauty here is that this money can easily be used for educational purposes for any other member of your family. Okay, so if you have other children, you can easily transfer that money towards that other child's educational expenses. And if that's not the case, you can use it for yourself or any member of your family, as long as these are qualified educational expenses. However, I understand there might be some situations where you've been saving all that money and then 18 years go by and it turns out nobody goes to college, no educational expenses to speak of. What do you do then? Well, in that case, the money is treated as if it was an ordinary investment account. You would cash it out, you would pay taxes on it, and unfortunately there would also be a 10% penalty. Of course, the idea is that the money should be used for educational expenses. That's why you get all this tax-free treatment. That's why in some states you get the tax deduction feature. So ideally, that's how the money should be spent. But it's not a dead-end situation. Like I said, if it turns out that there's nobody that needs this money, you will be able to cash it in as long as you pay tax on all the capital gains and that have accumulated in that account. So it's not the end of the world, clearly. So with that in mind, I definitely want to encourage anyone who has young children to start saving early. These plans are available practically in all of the states of the Union. Now remember, you don't have to participate in your own state's 529 plan. You could choose any other state's 529 plan. There are some states whose plans are a little better than others. Without delving too much into particulars, what distinguishes one from the other, the general rules that apply to all of them. The only difference is in the way these plans are managed. So you might find that some states have a plan that performed better over the years than other states. So you're really not locked in. However, if you do want to take advantage of these state tax deductions, if your state offers such tax deductions, chances are they will make you invest in that state's 529 plan in order to take the tax deduction on your state tax return. Now, also, the child doesn't have to go to school in that particular state. So if you're a resident, let's say like myself, in the state of New York, and my child attends college in California, that's not a problem. So any qualified expenses, educational expenses, tuition, books, technology, anything that's associated with that child's education, fair game, and you could use that money towards paying for all of these educational expenses. And like any other expense, like any other, like any other investment, time is of the essence. So the more time you have, the obviously more money you'll be able to accumulate, the greater that money will grow. So I encourage everyone who would consider starting a 529 plan to do this as early as possible, so as to give your plan plenty of money to grow and to appreciate in value. So with that, I will close my my short hangout today, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. It most likely be 2 weeks from now, and at that time I will discuss another, I think, very pertinent subject that's on the minds of a lot of people who are nearing retirement age, and that has to do with should I retire early or not. In other words, most people obviously retire at the age of 66 these days. I think 65 and 10 months, but you are eligible to retire at 62, and the question arises: is it worth it? So we will delve into that subject during our next hangout, and I'll explain the rules and the mechanics of that. Okay, take care, and till we meet again.